Okay, we're gonna jump into a ranked game then, with this Freljord Ionia deck again. We're currently sitting in Gold 3. There are 4 divisions in each tier, starting up from Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, and then it's Platinum, Diamond, and then Masters. So we're sitting in the middle of the range. Okay, so we're against another Freljord Ionia, playing Zed, Ashe and Tryndamere, whereas I am obviously still playing the same as last time. So with Ashe, Tryndamere and Zed, they're probably going mid to late. So we're going to keep, actually going to keep most of it, we're going to keep the same. Some good early units that we can use here.
You'll thank me later.
So I don't know how new people are to this game, so I'm going to assume that everyone's going to have a fairly basic / zero understanding of the game, understand maybe a basic of the concept. So I'm going to apologise in advance to those of you that do understand the game, and if this feels a little bit patronising to you, I apologise, but I'm going to try and walk you through the game as much as possible. So that if you are new to this and you're just tuning in to support me, you can try and follow along a little bit as well. That'd be great. So we didn't have any units on the board, so we couldn't block his attack, so that's why we took 1 damage there. So we can play this wolf at 2 costs. We have 2 mana. So we have 2 conventional mana and 1 spell mana. This mana is only ever used for spells, consumed by spells. If you don't have any spell mana, you can cast spells using conventional mana as well, but you can only cast champions and followers, so units, with this conventional mana. So I'm going to play this wolf, and it will obviously cost us 2 mana. Spell mana is generated at the end of each turn if you have unused mana. So if he was to end his turn now, he has 2 unused mana. That would get converted into spell mana, up to a maximum of 3 each turn. So in theory, on turn 3, if you haven't played anything turn 1 or 2, you can have 3 mana and 3 spell mana. So you can play like a 6 power spell, like this one. But if you don't have any units on the board, it's not necessarily going to be very helpful. So each round, one person has the attack token, the other person does not. So it's our attack this turn. We have the ability to attack. So we can attack straight away, or we have the option to play a unit first. So we had an elusive unit last game, so we're going to play one again this turn. Elusive can only be blocked by other elusives. That's their special trait. So by playing this unit, we still guarantee ourselves some damage, or at least we increase the chances of us doing damage this turn, because they do not currently have an elusive unit on the board. They have enough mana to play one if they have one in their hand, so we'll wait and see. Our next plan will then be to attack straight away. This unit has Challenger, so we can of course drag one of their units to block like we did in the last game.
Not and ready.
Not this turn, no. So this card has a play effect, where you frostbite an enemy. So it's chosen to frostbite my wolf, which means it will do 0 damage this turn. If they're clever, they may have decided to frostbite the assassin here, because this is a free 2 damage that they can't block. If they have a spell, they can maybe stop it, but we're going to assume they don't. We're going to attack for 2 damage. They have enough mana here because they can use 2 spell mana and 1 conventional mana to play a 3 cost spell. If they have one, of course. And if they decide to play one, because they could have one and just decide two health is not really all that much, so they just let it go. We have to assume that they could have this kind of spell as well. So we talked about power and health. Obviously when a unit's health hits 0, it dies. And obviously how much power it is how much damage it deals, whether that's to the Nexus or to other units. So they have 3 spell mana, 4 mana. We have 4 mana, 1 spell mana.
All the world on one arrow.
And they have played Ashe. Ashe is another champion card. So she has a level up ability, a level up condition, at which point she'll become stronger, and she has a spell effect, and that will change based on the level up as well. So on their attack, Ashe will make my strongest unit have 0 damage, and when that's happened 5 times, or the frostbite effect has happened 5 times, she will then level up. So, my turn. We're going to need something that can block the Ashe's damage, because that's quite a lot of damage. So we're going... Oh, we can't. We haven't got enough mana. So we can't play this unit. So we are just going to play this Shadow Assassin again. Another unit that draws a card for me. Oh, good. That's a nice spell. We don't have the mana for it, but that's a good spell for the next turn.
Swiftly now.
My arrow won't miss.
Tea for 2.
Okay. So, Ashe's effect, when she attacks, makes my strongest unit 0 damage. We can still use it to block. And in this case, we will. We will use it to block one of these with 1 damage, so it won't die. We will use this to stop 3 damage and also kill the unit, but we will lose this unit. And we will also stop this. So we won't take 6 damage to the Nexus, but we will lose this unit, but they will lose 2 health, and that will be important in what we're going to do next turn. Okay. So next turn we're going to have 2 spell mana and 5 mana. So a total of 7. Which is going to be very useful because we are going to play this card. And this card. This card, sorry. So spells have different speeds at how quickly they take effect. This spell has a burst speed, which means as soon as I play the card and OK it, it will happen. Then you have fast spells, which I don't have any of, which have the opponent has a chance to react, but can be played in combat phases, and slow spells, which can't. They have to be played at the start of the turn or near the end of the turn, not in the combat phase. So I'm going to play this burst spell, which will give my ally here more health and more damage. And now I'm going to play this slow spell. This slow spell deals 2 damage to all units. So mine will stay alive thanks to the previous spell we used, but we will kill the 3 units. We don't mind about these 2, but this one is important to get rid of, this Ashe. Now if they have a spell that can deny like we used in the last turret game, or they might have a spell similar to the one we just used. Nope. So we took out their unit and we still have ours. That's a good start to our turn. They now have the opportunity to play some units. And that's quite a strong one. So this unit has Overwhelm, which we saw in the last game. Excess damage on your attack is dealt to the Nexus. And it has Regen, similar to the Braum from the last game as well. So this one, if we leave it alone, is going to be an absolute pain to deal with. So we are going to attack, and we are going to remove the unit. We don't really want to use up our unit, but next turn we can play one of ours. And this one will be a pain, so we need to get rid of it. I'm expecting a spell here, yeah. Okay, so they made it stronger. That's unfortunate. I'm going to lose my unit, and it's going to regen up this turn. There's nothing I can do about that, and that's unfortunate.
A fine new scar!
That was a burst speed spell, so there was nothing I could do about it. It took effect immediately.
We'll take what we
So now he's
want.
going to attack immediately before I have a chance to play a unit. If he played a unit, I would have a chance to play a unit before he attacks. So him attacking here would actually be of good sense, because there will be 4 damage that I won't be able to do anything about. I could play this spell here. It's a burst spell, so it would happen immediately, and it's frostbite, so they would have no attack. They would have no damage at all. And you know what? I will. Will I? That means I won't be able to play this unit on this turn. And I think I want to play this unit actually on this turn. I think playing the unit is more important than stopping the 4 damage. So I'm going to let the 4 damage happen. So we are going to play this unit this turn.
We'll take what we want. The rest will burn.
So this unit has Overwhelm, but it doesn't have a lot of damage, but it has a spell effect. When it survives damage, so when it takes damage but it isn't killed, it will grant extra free damage. That takes effect afterwards, so not in that combat, but in the next combat. So, for example, if I attack now, and they block with this, as they might do, I would take the damage, deal my damage, and then I would gain extra damage the next time I attacked. So we're going to do that, expecting them to block here. Because for them it makes sense to block. They can destroy, they can deal damage to my units, take damage, but they won't be killed because of the regen.
Prove yourself.
Excellent. And they have a spell here. Oh, so they're going to give it more damage. They gave it more damage and more health. Now, that card that they used, that effect, that is a permanent effect. It costs a lot of mana, but it's a permanent spell effect. It will last the entire game. Frustrating. Absolutely. So, what is the plan here? I'm going to use 2 spells. A spell to stop their damage, which is frustrating, because it means I won't get my spell passive effect, but there's nothing I can do about that. In fact, there's no point me then doing anything else, because I can do extra damage to this unit, but it will just regen it next turn. So there's no point me now doing anything else. It's just about making this unit survive. I was going to play this card and give it more damage, but again, there's no point. It will just regen it in a minute. So I'm going to save that extra mana to play this unit instead. This unit's elusive and it steals life steals, so it will regen health. So again, this spell effect is permanent, and that's going to make this unit very difficult to deal with for the rest of this game. But we do have a lot of frostbite, so we can stop their attacks, at least for that individual turn. We don't have a unit to play here, so we're just going to have to pass it over. Now this is a challenger unit, so it's going to challenge my elusive unit most likely here. Shatter. Deal 4 damage to an enemy unit if it has 0 power, otherwise frostbite it. So he's going to get... that's what he's going to do. This is clever. He's going to give this 0 power. And then he's going to challenge it with the wolf. The wolf, when it challenges a unit with 0 power, it kills it immediately. So even though it only has 3 damage, it will kill this unit. So we will change that, because we can either frostbite it so that it doesn't attack at all, or we can give my unit a bit of power. And that's what we're actually going to do, because we want to take some damage to buff this damage up on this character here. So we will pass to let them signal their attack.
We'll take what we want.
Cheers for your support, Daniel. I'm not going to feed. You can't feed in this game. So he's designed that to kill this unit immediately, despite only having 3 power. So we're not gonna. We will block here.
I sense fear.
Frostbite this unit so that it doesn't deal our damage to me, but we will lifesteal 2 up. And we will give some power here so that we are no longer instantly killed by this unit. And we will confirm the block. So we'll take 3 damage, but we will destroy this unit, and we will gain extra power on our next turn because of the spell effect. And we'll regen 2 health because of the life still here. Which is about as well as this this turn can go.
Another fine scar.
So we've gained extra power. There you are. Which means we threaten this a bit more.
Of an ice-shrouded world.
Not anymore, thanks to this joyful unit. The spell effect, start of every round, frostbite the strongest enemy. What a lovely spell effect. It's going to cause us a lot of problems. Because the plan was, now that this unit, the Scar Mother, has taken damage, we could play the Take Heart, give it more damage, give it more health, and we can actually threaten this unit. Can't do that now because of the frostbite here. You know, every turn, as long as this has the highest power, it will be have frostbite, and it won't be able to do any damage. So we need to kill this unit as quickly as possible. I don't have a challenger unit at the moment. And so it's just down to him blocking, which he isn't. So we're going to play the elusive unit just to have a 4 HP swing, take 2 damage off of them and get 2 damage back. If I play a unit, they have a chance to play one. It might be elusive, so I'd rather not block my damage. Now we'll play our unit, because rather than end the round we want to play the unit. So this has a spell effect. When it's summoned, every unit card in my deck gets an extra 1 power and extra 1 health. Quite useful as the game goes later on, because we have some big powerful cards later on that we want to be buffed up. So just have to end the round here. Save onto our mana. Refill our spell mana to 3. So it got the extra power from the previous card that we played. And this will be very useful for our next turn. Okay. So this is a slow spell. If we had our deny, we could stop this spell from occurring. but we don't, so we can't stop this spell. And it's going to summon 2 exact copies of a chosen ally, and they are ephemeral. So they'll die at the end of the turn because they're ephemeral, but they will be 12 power, 9 health with Overwhelm. Probably going to win him the game. Except, because it's a slow effect, it will take effect after my spell. So I will Frostbite it. Frostbite 2, because this card can allow me to do that. Now, he will summon 2 copies of a 0/9 unit. I think. Hopefully that's how that works. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. It is. That is how that worked. So all of a sudden, not looking quite so good for him. Because he's got no attack here. And that was a high cost spell that he used as well. 6 cost, I think? Okay, so not quite as high cost. But that worked really well. That's pleasing. So we're going to play the half guard here. So we get the same spell effect we just have. So every card in our deck has an extra 1 power and 1 health. So they've now got 2 from here. Now crucially, this is 6 power.
Is the Freljord's true ruler.
Not so crucially anymore. This had 6 power and 6 health. Which means it takes the priority from the first one. It will be frostbitten, leaving this card alive and available to do damage. But no, because he has the second card, it affects the next strongest enemy, which is this one. So we're in the same place that we were a few minutes ago, and that is frustrating. But there's nothing I can do about it until I kill this card. But I still haven't got a challenger unit, so there will still be nothing we can do. So, same move as last turn. We're going to attack again with this 2 damage unit. We're not going to play a unit yet, because although we can't get as much damage down, we get 2 damage and we heal up for 2. 4 HP swing, it's the best we're going to do, and we don't want to play a unit in case they then play an elusive unit. It's a slow game this. It's going to be slow because they've got a mid to late game deck. We are playing the same, so we're going to be slow into each other here. We're going to play the Hawk now because it has a similar effect to the one we just saw, the half guard, but it's only for the top 2 allies. But we can see it's been buffed up twice by the previous ones. So the next 2 cards that we draw are going to have the +2 from these 2 and have a +1 from this one. So there'll be 3 extra power and health, which is very strong. And we end the round now.
The frost reveals all to me.
Deny. That's useful. So we'll be able to stop his fast spells. Tryndamere. Tryndamere is a very good unit for finishing a game because he has 8 power and he has Overwhelm. The damage that he deals excess is dealt to the Nexus, and his level up is if he would take lethal damage. So if we blocked with a 5 power unit, instead of dying, he levels up to a unit that has 9 power and 9 health. Oh, and fearsome, which means it can only be blocked by enemies with 3 or more power. So if we had a 0 power Braum with 12 health that would survive, if it has 0 power, it can't block. So it becomes very frustrating to deal with. Thanks. So we'll pass. We have the unit advantage at the moment, so even though we have no power now on these, because he's not leveled up yet, we can still use them to block. And we may have to.
Death itself can't stop me.
Okay. We are going to put this 5 damage unit into the firing line. And just accept that that's what's going to happen. And then we are going to frostbite these units here. So we will kill the Tryndamere. He will then level up. Very frustrating. Nothing we can do about it. It's better to make him level up so that we can then kill him the second time. And once we've killed him the second time, he's gone. So he levels up.
I'll never yield.
But nothing can be done about it. So Avalanche will only deal 2 damage to all units. So it won't kill any of my units, and it won't kill any of his. But it will knock these quite low, but I don't have any way to challenge them, so that's not actually worth doing at this point. So I'm going to hold on to it for when we get the Tryndamere quite low, and then we can finish him off with Avalanche. Because he doesn't have health regen, whereas this one does. So this is the scarier unit. But we've managed to keep it quiet so far, so hopefully we can carry on doing so this game.
Spice runs in our veins.
It's our attack. Okay, this is a very frustrating card. So because of the frostbite effects making this 0 power, this card will kill my own units. Because the obliterate effect, all followers with 4 or less power in play and in hands are destroyed. So we will lose these 2 cards. Crucially, however, they will lose these 2 cards. And so that is what I'm going to have to play. I'm going to have to play this card, get a 13 power and 13 health. That's really strong. And then this effect. Killing off these units is really, really important. If he has a deny, like we do, he can play this and stop this effect. Will I be upset? Yes. He doesn't. Okay. That's fine. 2 pieces on the board each. His are slightly stronger because of the regen here and the overwhelm, but we have the Nexus advantage. So this is still going to be a close one. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If it is 0 power, otherwise frostbite it. So on my next attack I won't be able to do any damage. I do not want that. I need to deny that. Now he probably has enough mana and a spell for a deny here. But I'm going to have to take the chance. I'm going to have to use the deny. Because I want this unit to have maximum power, because it is still my attack. So I attack with this unit, and it doesn't matter which one they block it with, they will lose it. They will lose that unit, or they'll take 13 damage, which is almost enough to kill them. So we'll commit that. Hopefully they don't have a deny, but if they do, they are most likely going to stop the deny from happening. So because it's a fast speed spell, they have a chance to do a spell themselves. It's not burst, it doesn't happen immediately, which is a shame. But would be a little bit too strong. So this is likely to be another deny. Yeah. So there's nothing I can do about that now. I'm going to have 0 power on that. Which means I'm going to have to wait this turn out. I could attack with this one and hope that I would chunk down the Tryndamere, but he will block with this one to destroy my unit and have extra regen on it, so that's not a problem for him. So I'm just going to have to pass and see what happens here. If he has the same spell that he just played, instead of doing 0 power, it will deal 4 damage. So it won't kill the unit.
Bring the fight!
So instead,
Crush them!
he played a unit. So we'll pass. Okay. Okay. So, this card is great. Mina Swiftfoot. When you play, you can recall 3 enemies. When you recall a unit, it loses any of the buffs that it gained so far this game. So I can play my card, all 3 of his cards will go back into his hand, and they'll lose their buffs. So Tryndamere will still be 9/9. This this character will still be 5/8, but this one will be back to 0. And that's going to be incredibly important now. Because these units are ephemeral. So they die at the end of the turn, but I don't really have a way of dealing with them. So I'm going to have to play this unit, but it's which ones I recall. Their mana cost means that they won't be able to play all these units. So recalling Tryndamere will be good. Get rid of him. He's 8 costs, they wouldn't be able to play him on this attack. Removing this one because of its strength is important because these two are going to die at the end of the turn. So we remove Tryndamere, we remove one of these, and we remove one of the ephemeral units here. But if we do that, it will be back in its hand, which means it won't die this turn. So I'm thinking it might just be worth taking the damage from it and removing this unit. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to give him 2 copies of this on his next turn. I'm going to do it. I'm going to remove it.
Free and lonesome as a
So he will only get to play one of these units this turn, and it will likely be this one because it's the ephemeral, so it will die.
Don't you?
But the important thing is they're going to lose their buffs, so they'll be back at basic level. So I could have played it to all 3 and kept the Tryndamere out, but this is just as effective.
Now we have fun.
Hopefully just as effective. So the spell effect for this unit is every time it attacks, it deals 1 to all units, including itself and its teammates. Doesn't help me too much here. So I think the plan, I mean, I could just let them do damage and it won't kill me, and this unit dies. So I'm going to let this unit attack me, which is risky, but that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to block the unit here, like this.
1 foot grounded.
So we'll destroy his unit. We'll take 6 damage from the 5 and the 1 here, but it will survive. That's the plan. And we might just win this next turn. Because if this goes to plan, this unit dies because it's the end of its round, and we have 3 units. So this is, he's given it more health. So this unit will still die though, because of the ability there. So that's fine, that's worked in my favour. So he has the mana to play a unit now, so he can play 1 unit. But it's not buffed anymore, and that's fantastic. Because now we have a really good chance to win this game. So this is an elusive unit, so we could play it and they wouldn't be able to block it, but doing so would enable them to play a unit, and we don't want that. So we're going to attack with all 3 units. This unit can only block 1. Maybe they have a frostbite like we've used earlier on in the in the game. So we will wait to see. They'll probably block the most damage, but these 5 and 9 means I still get lethal damage. So they're most likely going to block here, and hopefully for their sake, if they have one, they'll use a frostbite to stop me dealing lethal damage. Let's find out.
Bold, aren't you?
Yes, that signifies they do have a frostbite. Here you are, yep. And that is played so that they kill this unit. I deal 5 damage and I don't do any here. But we have Take Heart. So we're going to give him 3 extra damage and 3 extra health to survive here. It's a burst spell, so there's nothing he can do about it. And now I survive. He might have another spell to buff the damage up here, in which case I don't have, and that's unfortunate. We're just going to lose the unit. So we'll wait and see. Oops, sorry about that.
I wasn't strong enough.
He didn't. So, what's he going to play? And he can't play the... Oh, he can play the Tryndamere. Tryndamere is 8 cost. He's playing the Z instead. He's going to play the Z, which is a 3 cost, and the Scar Maiden, which is a 5 cost. So, I'm going to play my elusive unit, which deals 8 damage when it attacks. Can't attack now, because we've used our attack for this turn. So we have to wait a couple of turns.
Tremble before the winter's claw.
But this is close. And it didn't look like it was going to be at one point, when this unit was super strong. This is a deck all about building, playing the game slowly, and trying to drag the game out. Another elusive unit. So if he plays a unit here, we will play our elusive unit.
Smell a fight.
He plays the Tryndamere. So we play the Shadow Assassin. It's been buffed up by our half guards earlier on. It deals 4 damage now, and it's elusive, so it can only be blocked by other elusive units.
Seize control.
So what's he gonna do? Probably Frostbite. Yeah, so he's gonna Frostbite my She Who Wanders. Now, I could Avalanche here, and in using Avalanche, I would destroy the Zed, which is 1 less attacker to worry about. It's actually 2 because of the way that Zed works, but that's a time for another time. Thing for another time. If I do so, I will lose this unit, which is a lot of damage. But I think I'm okay with doing that. Because I can block both of these units with these 2. So even though I don't do any damage, I survive it. And I still have enough power in my elusive units next turn to try and end the game.
Attack!
Stay out of my way!
So we block this. Oh, it's 0 power, so it can't be blocked. Ah, I forgot about that. I forgot about the fearsome. Okay. So we have to block the Tryndamere here with this unit because of the 0 power here. So that was a good move from them. So in which case, me using the Avalanche might not have been as strong. This doesn't have fearsome though, so I can block it like this. So I wanted to block it the other way around. So I'm still going to take 6 damage because of the overwhelm here, but I survive, and that's the important thing here. Because I don't want to lose these units, and he doesn't have any mana for any spells. If he had some mana for spells, I probably would have needed to use this one here because of the extra health to reduce the damage I took further.
Till the end.
He has no cards and no mana.
I've survived a few winters!
So, we're going to start by the attacking. This is a stupidly strong spell, and that's why it costs 12 mana, so it needs 10 of ours and some spell mana as well. And it summons a unit when I play the card, and at the start of every round I get a unit summoned on the board down here for free, which is very, very strong. If I play that though, I'm going to leave myself with no mana at all to play any spells. Now I don't have any spells, but he has to assume that I might. So I'm going to attack with 2 elusive units. If he has a Frostbite here, the harsh winds that I drew earlier... No, he surrendered, he didn't. Okay, if he had a Frostbite there, he could have stopped both those units, so I was also going to attack with She Who Wanders as well. But he didn't, so he surrendered. So I didn't get to show you the stupidly strong spell, but hopefully that will come up in another game. But we won, so we're climbing, and that's good.